Got it.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Kyle.
Hi. Hello, everybody.
How are you?
Fantastic. Nice day down here.
It is nice. It is so nice in Florida. Oh my God, the summer is here. We're going to enjoy every day now. So welcome, everybody, for a new session of our mastermind with Kyel Thomas. Journey to Crypto. I'm Fanny, and we're continuing this series. We've started explaining how the Osmosis platform works, what is the Osmo, what is the Juno more in detail. And so now today we want to do a special session that's more like general on like all kind of topics, what is happening in the news that is influencing the economy, how is it linking up to the crypto, and maybe you wanted to talk about another platform called Crescent. So let's just like start this conversation and see how it goes, and because it's always too interesting to see how it's fluctuating. For example, right now, the Osmosis and the Juno are completely crashing. So I've been super stressed like for the past 2 weeks. Not stressed. No, that's not true, because I'm so confident that we're guided, and that, it's fluctuating. So just like we were super excited to buy the Osmo for $4 in December, now it's back down to $4. So hopefully it will go back up. So it's actually an opportunity for people to invest right now. So it can, get back
That's
to
where
that.
most of the money is made when you're buying in a bear market. Bear market is when the market's down. Because, people see it and like, oh, the prices are down. Like, I'm not going to buy now. It's like, do you say that same thing on Black Friday or Cyber Monday?
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's discounted. Like, I don't want it. Like, it's getting an asset that, because I actually just had a discussion with a guy earlier about, because he was a Bitcoin maxi, like, oh, everything outside of Bitcoin is crap. And I had to try to share some knowledge with them of like, man, it's more than just a currency. It's a technology. It's a data distribution technology. And so like data resource management, decentralized cloud services, decentralized servers. So because most, like, what is it? 70% of websites are dependent on AWS, which is Amazon Web Service. And so like if that goes down, the internet goes down, right? And so there's so much more outside of just the currencies, and that understanding that eventually this technology as a whole will come to replace a lot of our social structure and financial structure. Because I've been in this for 4 years. Like when I first got into it, Bitcoin went up to $20,000. Like, oh my gosh. And then months later, it went down, like in the process, it went all the way back down to like $5,000 at the time. And it's the longer you're in it, the more you just kind of relax and understand that it just goes up and down. Yeah. And with the vision, knowing that it's going to replace, like, I don't know if you've seen, but I think I've shared some articles before of the US government looking into CBDCs. And there's actually a fancy map. I forget what the website's called, but it's like CBDC worldwide. And you can actually go back in time and see what countries are investigating and researching the use of CBDCs. And for a time, it was like 5 countries, mainly in Africa, because they've had it in inflation years for decades.
CBDCs, what is it?
CBDC is a central bank digital currency. It's very much tied to, it goes into some pretty dark things, but it's basically cryptocurrency that's not decentralized. It's owned and governed by the central banks, and it ties into like the social credit score. So like like what China does, if you say something that somebody doesn't like, they can deduct your pay, they can freeze your bank account, or in this case, your CBDCs, your currency, or control, like if you're eligible for loans, they will have much more control over finance of the people. So CBDCs are not a good thing. But because of that, and because it gives so much control, that's why there's so much interest within governments looking into CBDCs. And recently, for the last couple of months, there's been a lot of talk within Congress and things to seek the interest and research into how CBDCs can benefit the United States government. So it's an inevitability. So the price fluctuations, are kind of like an exercise for your own mental well-being, right? Can you handle it? Can you?
Yeah. Well, visualize like in nature, you know, when I was watching a training the other day, I think from Dean, and he was talking about these trees, but you imagine like the seasons of the nature. You have the apple trees or any kind of tree. There is the season when he's resting during the winter and recharging the energies and stuff like that before it can bloom and produce the actual fruit in the summer or in fall or whatever. Each fruit has their season. So we're not here 8 months out of the year looking at the tree. Oh my God, this tree is not working. Like, you know, no, it's the cycles of the nature. So I think for the crypto, this is how you have to see it as well. Like, okay, whatever, maybe it's down now because they're working like on new projects, or just like when we are working on a project, for example, sometimes I feel like, oh, I'm so unproductive because I'm not materializing the things, but I'm actually typing down my projects, making my flyers, making my stuff. And whenever all of a sudden, boom, I'm ready to deliver all of that. So I think we have to see like that. Also, what is happening that you think in the back office that is or in the current events of the world, like Ukraine and stuff like that, that is actually influencing these fluctuations? Most likely on the ones that we've been talking about, like Osmo and Juno and stuff like that.
Well, for those ones specifically, like there was some drama about Juno and their governance protocol, and there was some people that gamed the system because the Atom network has become known as like the airdrop ecosystem. Part of the way to benefit the community as a whole and to encourage decentralization. A lot of projects that are built on Atom or Juno get airdrops to investors. So if you're staking your Atom and you're staking Juno, and there's a couple of different coins within the ecosystem that also qualify for things, but you get free airdrops. And then, so there was a whale, you call them. A whale is anybody that holds like a lot of something. And it came out that they had like 20 some different wallets and with like millions of dollars in each wallet. So when airdrop, I forget what currency it was, but there was an airdrop and they got like the majority of it. And so there was a vote to take it back from them. And then people started questioning like, oh, is that really decentralized governance? Even though the people are allowed to vote on it. So that was a lot of drama that came out, and then that messed up the price. And then Evmos stopped working. And Evmos is basically, it's built on Juno, and it'll be the bridge, one of the bridges to make things built on Ethereum work in the Cosmos ecosystem. So you can actually bring Ethereum projects into Cosmos. And it stopped working.
It stopped working? So what does it mean? Like, that's it? This is the end of it?
No. It's coming back in a couple of days. It's up and
there was
down.
like a pause, like they
Yeah, it released for a couple of days and then something went wrong. And so they halted the project, and they've been working on it for like a month now. But no, it just went up and running yesterday, back up and running. So I was able to claim some, because I had some staking. I got some for free as well. So it's up and running again. And then there's a couple of kinks, right? When you're dealing with new technologies and things, you're trying to work out the kinks.
Yeah.
So some people.
The what? The kinks?
Kinks. Problems like.
Oh yeah.
And
the airdrops. Sorry, finish and what you were saying. I don't want you to lose your idea.
Basically, there's a lot of drama in the Cosmos ecosystem recently, so that's why specifically that ecosystem's been affected. But as a whole, like the whole crypto market, like people get skittish. Like even when you know what something's going to do, but people get, and it's really strange. Like I find it kind of funny. Like people are worried about inflation and what to do with your money. You know, because now it's 8.1%. Like every month it goes up a percentage, even though food prices are up 30%. Construction costs are higher. Like there's all this other influences that aren't taken into account into the actual numbers of inflation. But when people get worried about inflation, like for some reason they sell their assets for more dollar, which is like, oh, so you want to sell something that was making you money to go into something that's going to lose you money. So it's very strange because you see it in the stock market too. Like when there's inflation issues or the Federal Reserve is going to raise their interest rates, like people sell off, not just crypto, but stocks in general. So it's a really strange thing considering like these things are hedges against inflation, but when inflation numbers come out, people sell their, it's really strange, but yeah.
You would assume that would be the opposite, like that you would get redirected towards the alternatives solutions.
Yeah, but then it's like the old saying, cash is king, and some people,
they want to hold on to what. I'm the same. Sometimes I'm like, oh my god, if I don't have cash this month, I'm just gonna go and grab my crypto, and then I'm like, no, I'm gonna try not to touch that, like until it actually start really like profiting, like the vision we had when we started the workshop, right? That is
just to keep it building, just to
exactly.
There's a saying in crypto, when in doubt, zoom out, which is like when you're looking at a chart and it's like, oh, it's gone down so much, but if you actually look out back years worth of time, we're vastly higher than we were here. So it's an investment in your future, not a get rich quick type of thing. Although some people do, but
well, now that's it. I'm like, I'm not gonna sell because if I'm selling now, I'm losing too much money. I'm like, if I sold it like when it started going down, I would like maybe recuperate my money, but now it's like so down that I'm pretty much like, okay, I will lose everything if I sell it now, so I'm just gonna leave and wait till it goes back up, and I trust and I'm confident. So what is this airdrops? You've sent me a couple of links every time. You're like, hey, I got some free airdrops, you got to see if you're eligible. So I was not, but so there is this option, like once you get into tackling a little bit into your crypto, you can, where do you find these links, these opportunities, these airdrops, free cryptos and stuff?
Twitter.
Twitter?
Because like I follow a lot of crypto stuff on Twitter. And Twitter is basically, there's a whole section of Twitter that's called Crypto Twitter.
Crypto Twitter,
and I follow the projects. Like Cosmos has its own Twitter, and so I follow them. They give their news, they say what's going on, and pay attention. But there is a website called, I think it's called cosmosairdrops.io or something like that, and they tend to list future airdrops and current airdrops and get the links to claim. But it's a requirement-based thing. So like a lot of the airdrops, recent ones were snapshotted, which is like they basically taking a picture of the blockchain, and months ago, even last year, some of them. So it's like, it's a luck of the draw type of thing. Like I've just been in the Cosmos ecosystem for a couple of years, so I'm eligible for a lot more of them. But like as time goes on, especially since Juno's only like 6 months old, so it's still fairly new. There's still projects being built on them, and like I said, this ecosystem is basically to incentivize the decentralization and effectiveness of the ecosystem. They airdrop a lot of new projects that get built, airdrop some of their tokens to investors of the ecosystem.
So the simple fact that you have Juno makes you eligible, or you need to be like already active on that specific platform? For example, last time, whichever the first one you sent me, I was not eligible. So I was like, what would it take that I would be eligible? Like that I already have an account active for a while on this specific platform, or I was
it depends on the airdrop. So they'll have requirements of at least 20 Juno or 100 osmosis. Like they have investment requirements. And then, like I said, it's a snapshot. So like if you weren't in, like a lot of the most recent ones were from February or December. So if you weren't invested at that time, then you're not eligible. So yeah, most of the snapshots were taken at the most recent upgrade for Cosmos, which was back in December. So if you weren't invested, then you're not eligible for a lot of them that are coming out. But there are future ones coming out. So now that you are in the system, that's why I keep sending like some of the newer ones. Just hey, I don't know.
Thank you.
Maybe you are eligible for this one because I don't remember when. Like, but yeah, it's
like loyalty program, right? You are involved in the system, you contribute to the system, so you're going to benefit. Being one of the first who can benefit from it, and once it grows, it will welcome more people to also benefit from.
That's something else I wanted to say. So like some of the other requirements for like airdrops, like they'll have many different ones, but some of them are also like, did you vote on a government proposal? So being interacting and doing your part to help the ecosystem.
Interesting.
Reward you as well. Yeah. So
I like that. I like that because I like the idea that it's going to infiltrate into everything. Like, of course, the governments now, they're also going to get into the crypto, and this is participative. Like for me, this is the best if we can have a government that becomes more and more open and participative, because they say, oh, it's the law. When did I ever vote a law? Like, when did I ever had my say into a law? Yeah, this one time you vote for a president once every 5 years, so
right. And then
how do we get more and more involved into actually reaching out to the decision makers and changing like the economy, but also the decisions then into the medicine or the wars? Like you were talking about Ukraine and
Biden's proposal to send aid to Ukraine, $33 billion, which is like, I haven't done the math yet, but I wanted to do something with that. Like, if they were actually give that to the American people to, like, I don't know, stimulate, because that's your tax money that's going out there, right? But that's, over the last few years, the US government's just been printing money and throwing it all over the place. Part of the reason why for inflation, that inflation's so high. But yeah, so there's something called DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations, and it's basically voting, right? It's decentralized governance. And I see this being a big part of replacing government. Because, once we have an open blockchain-based financial system, right? Because it's like, where did your taxes go? I don't know. When was the last time the Federal Reserve was audited? Oh, never. The Pentagon, where does all the money go? How often are they audited? I remember like 10 years ago or something like that, they were audited, and in their records, they were paying like $500 for toilet seats, $1,000 for a hammer, like all these weird purchases, which of course is very suspicious. They can write whatever they want, and that money, they didn't spend $500 on a hammer. But one of the problems is that, and we're experiencing it like in the Cosmos ecosystem and in crypto as a whole, because there are a lot of government proposals for the blockchain, but a lot of people don't like to participate because it's a lot of work, right? You have to read proposals, just like if you want to make laws, or if the citizens want to contribute to laws, you got to read, when they
pages and pages,
laws, thousands of pages in some of these things that they pass within the Senate and Congress. And it's like,
what do you do for a living? I read.
Right.
I read papers.
So the reality is, like, that's ideal, but most people don't want to have that, responsibility, I guess.
This is probably on purpose as well, like to make these huge, like, law proposals and stuff. So nobody is like brave enough, courageous enough to go and sneak, their nose into it and see what's actually going on.
What the funny thing is, though, is like they'll do this days before you're supposed to vote on it. Oh, you have to read this 2,000-page bill by tomorrow, and then you got to vote on it. And so no one's going to do that. This is part of the corruption that goes on, and because it's like, oh, what's in that bill? Because the bill like outlines, okay, we're going to send money to here. This is for economic stimulus, blah blah blah. We're going to send money here, 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 here. And it's all in the bill, but no one's going to be able to read it. So it's like people are passing things that they haven't even read, and so things get snuck in, and it's not a very efficient system.
Well, it's changing though. It's changing. And this is why, I'm always like, oh, we need to have like Tony Robbins presidents, or, I'm always pushing for my mentors and stuff, because they work with people like us, they've been through all the stages, and people like the communities and the business owners, or that are not like governed by necessarily an agency or an office, but that are trained to put their ideas out there, their skills out there, and to integrate that into manifesting into a new reality and stuff. So it's like people like that you need at the government that know the reality. You know, when I was after high school, I was in this like high politics class, you know, course for a year. And it was so bad for me. It was super passionating. I loved it. It was so interesting, like learning so much, but I just wasn't a fit because it's like, they were so good. They would have super great grades and learn and recite everything perfectly. But they were like, oh, my mom does my grocery for me. Oh, you know, she comes in the weekend and she does my laundry and stuff. And I'm like, so they're going to be the next political, but they don't even know the reality of like renting your place or how much the grocery is. Or, you know, you ask some, you know, the president, I think they asked one day the president of France, like, hey, how much is a baguette, you know, and like he couldn't even tell. So if you're not even aware of the reality of the everyday life, how do you want to empathize, you know, and offer the right solutions, you know, to know what people are actually dealing with? Because it's always easy once you're successful to say, oh, but just go do it, you know, never give up, just do it. And this is why they're so successful, because they've been through it. So they have the title to be able to say, oh, this is how it works. But they're always trying to find new solutions. You know, how does it evolve with the new world and stuff like that, to know, okay, what does it take now to be able to rent your own place, to raise your children? You know, my friend Teresa, she's here with me now, and she's telling me, you know, people want mothers to go to work like they don't have children, and to be mothers like they don't have a work, you know. So it's like, okay, how do you do it?
Right. Yeah. And it's like mothers have to work anymore because of things are so expensive. Both partners, like, yeah, even in the ideal situation of like, okay, husband and wife, and it's like both need to work to actually pay the bills and become successful.
Yeah.
And then being a single parent is, you know, vastly much.
I don't know. Yeah, it's so tough. If you're a single parent and you don't have the grandmother or the grandparents to help you, you don't have anyone to provide. And who gets a job from 9 a.m. after the school pickup and till 3 p.m., you know, go pick up your kids. So it's barely 6 hours. And to be able to afford a house or rent a car, everything. I don't know. Tell me, like, what kind of traffic I need to do, because
I mean, this is why I think society as a whole, or the world, it's pushing us towards, well, working from home, but there's a big push of just starting your own business. And like, there's a lot of interesting people talking about, well, there's sovereignty, but with the internet, you can make money online, like not just with crypto, but then like affiliate marketing and all these things. And it's like, it's pushing us to seek alternatives, because there's problems in the world. Things are skyrocketing.
Exactly.
And it's like, okay, what are we going to do? And it's like the universe pushing us to tap into our own resources and like, okay, can you get through it? Can you figure it out?
Yeah, find a new way. And yeah, this is exactly what you know, sometimes I'm like, maybe, you know, I've been put in this situation because it's not just me, it's so many people who are in this situation. So now we have to, you know, when I went into crypto, I was like, oh, maybe this is why I wasn't selling any of my mastermind, because we first, I think we have more and more to start working together, because on your own, it's too hard. So finding the ways that, you know, what I'm not good at, you can do it. Then this is why it's a good pair when you're doing this, because you're specialized and I'm curious. So we can actually, you know, ask the questions, you provide the solutions, and for every areas of life, to just like, I'm not good at this. Can you do that way faster than me? And I'm going to do that way faster than you, you know? And also, yeah, finding solutions like this journey to crypto that we're doing to back up some money, and to be able to, yeah, have more free time, work on your passions, or do a job, but because you love it, not just because, oh my God, I need the money, so stressful, you know. For me, I can have like the most stressful job. It doesn't matter, because I work with passion. But what stresses me is when I'm like, I'm not able to, I'm wondering, oh, am I going to be able to pay my rent? How am I going to buy food for my son? This is the real stress, you know?
Yeah. It's a hard times. But yeah, finding something that's, I mean, this is where like, I often say of like the future, I guess, but that crypto allows for the ability to monetize your own life, right? To make your life your career.
Yes.
Because now, there's social media stuff, new decentralized social media that's like, instead of likes, they give you a little bit of cryptocurrencies. There's Brave browser that pays you for the internet. There's pre-search that pays you for Googling something, although it's its own search engine, pre-search. But then also like, Twitter is implementing a Bitcoin tipping, so you can actually just send people Bitcoin. And I think they're about to move into Ethereum as well. And so it's like, and that's where, your life becomes your job and the things you want to do, right? The things you enjoy doing, and you just share that with people. It's a very, I see it's an integration of social media, despite all the negativity it gets. Like social media is actually extremely useful. And it's a tool. How are you using it? Are you watching videos of cats and women shaking their booty, or like, are you watching the people that are just trying to share some knowledge about either health or finance or creating your own business? Like, what are you doing with your social media? Are you contributing? Are you adding value? Are you sharing yourself, or are we still constricted by fear of being seen, or the fear of self-expression, or being recently for me, like having to handle people that are trolls, right? Like bashing me and calling me like a fraud and a liar, because I talk a lot about like, my TikTok.
TikTok, I was gonna say,
my TikTok is more of health and like alternative healing, and there's a lot of people.
Congratulations on your TikTok, because you're like super excited about it. Tell us about that. So you're talking about other topics.
I broke 10,000 followers now. It's been like 2 weeks since I started, and
that's it.
Yeah,
crazy.
I went from 300 2 weeks ago, 300 people, followers, to now breaking 10,000, 11,000. And it's helping me to judge where the people are, because it's like, I make content in crypto, but then also health. That's what skyrocketed me for some reason, was alternative healing. My time with Guatemala with the doctor, and with the things I learned, and just sharing my experiences. And people are starting to open up because of current events in the world. Like, oh wait, maybe the FDA and our government doesn't quite have our health in mind. And so people are seeking alternatives. So that's been nice, and it's actually quite fun. Like, I was always shy, like even like just writing something on Facebook, like, but now
I like your videos. I like your videos. They're straight to the point. And the fact that TikTok, for me, I don't like TikTok that much, because I talk a lot. Like, I like to talk and go deep into the topic and explain and philosophy and stuff. But the fact that TikTok is so successful, and the really short video, it also shows like the span of attention of people. Like nowadays, it's got to be 5 seconds. It's got to be 10 seconds, So when you deliver your message and you're able to put the essence of the content in like 10 seconds, it's a skill. It's a skill to be able to like bring that. I was seeing the one about the activated charcoal, and I was like, oh yeah, I need to get some. That's a great idea. You straight away, provide the solution, right? And the benefit that comes with it.
Yeah, it kind of forces you to have to condense the information to something quick. And it does mess with us, and that's why it's like, it's for kids and things, like as they're developing, and that is messing with their attention span, right? Every couple seconds needing a new dopamine hit.
It's good and bad. It's good because we're all busy, we don't have time. I wish I would watch everybody that I follow and love on social media, all of their videos, 1 hour and stuff. We just don't have the time. So it's good to have short videos where you get the message. But I'm also for the long conversations and the dialogue and the stuff. So like you say, for the kids to learn to so it's good to make a mix of both. That's why I guess your TikTok is going so good, and then you can redirect towards the longer classes or the mastermind or all of that. So then they want to dig into the topic, they can, but it's like the hook, right? I guess the TikTok.
Right. Yeah, it's the hook. And you want to condense the information and get people interested. I mean, it's an own art, and I've definitely not perfected it, but
yeah, no, your videos are great.
Yeah, because you have to make a link tree, and like you say, like that's the hook. You can call it a hook. But if you want more information, here's a link tree with all the different other topics and where you can learn more. Yeah, but I've also found, like, if you don't mention it, people don't look. Like, I'll get comments of like, how do I find this thing? And it's like, oh, it's in my bio. Like, you look at my bio, I have a link to all these more information. And so I have to practice actually saying like, hey, go to the link in the bio.
Yeah, this is available for you guys. Yeah, you have a new Redbubble store, you have a Amazon merch with your art as well. That is beautiful. You should post about this, because if you didn't send me in private WhatsApp, I would never know that you even do art,
Right. Yeah. I haven't even been doing it recently. I've been doing everything else.
It will look great on t-shirts and stuff.
Yeah, no, like some of the things I made, like even this backpack was quite interesting. It had the way it jumbled up my art and made it look really good. But t-shirts, it hasn't worked so well for. Although I have some designs in mind that I want to kind of incorporate.
What's your account name on Redbubble?
I want to say Starseed Labs.
Starseed Labs still? Okay, cool.
Yeah, Starseed Labs or Kyel TC. I think I'm going everything to Starseed Labs because I actually.
Keep going. It's a good name.
Which some people don't know, like back to somewhat of like to starting your own business and things. There's a lot of interesting stuff you can do with taxes. Like you can get a free EIN number. It's through the IRS, but basically that's starting your own business. People think like, oh, to start your own business, you need to have like a certificate and like do all these other things. But no, you just go to the website, fill out your form. What is your business that you're creating? I remember when I first learned about this when I was in Florida, they say just put your name, right? Your business name is you, and now you are your own business. And so like as you purchase goods, you can have it as a tax write-off because it's contributing to your business and like all these, and you just need an EIN number and it's free to get. So it's like
there's it's good to have a catchy name as well, that you know right away what it's about. Like when you hear Starseed Labs, okay, Starseed, so you already need to be someone who is into consciousness and know the terms of like what's a star seed and new world, all this stuff. And lab, okay, it's the idea of like alchemizing, transmuting, the new world, new society and stuff. So just the name itself, it's already evokes a lot of things. When you put your name, it's great because you're putting your name out there, but unless you I feel already a little bit famous and people already know what's your specialty, what you're known for, then at first when you show, I was reading some forums today and they were like, oh, do you know this person training? And I was like, I never heard that name before. Like for me, it's, I don't know, or when you see a name like Starseed Lab or Pachamama Art, okay, there is art. Okay, so art, if you know Pachamama, it's Mother Nature. It's, I like Starseed Lab. The very first time you told me, I was like, oh, that's a cool name. Yeah, I like it.
Wow, thank you. Yeah, but you're right, though. I remember watching a video about that before, this marketer, and he talks about creating your own business and the importance of the name and not just using your name sometimes.
You can put both. You can always sign, on Starseed Lab and sign your name. So there was this guy on Instagram, it's off topic a little bit, but I don't remember, he had that name, he was doing Dottism as well. Didgeridoo, do you know him?
No, I know the instrument, right?
Didgeridoo, that was his Instagram, and so everybody would know him to that. And once he started having like 500,000 followers or whatever, from a day to another, it was like Brendan something. He changed the name and I was like, who's this Brendan thing? And then I saw the art and I was like, oh, so he switched to his name because he had an amount of content that was big enough to be able to like have his signature with his name. Yeah. So okay, we have 5 minutes left. So how would you like to conclude? Do you want to say a word about this crescent that you were mentioning, or you want to keep it for another session, or you want to say like a word of wisdom?
Oh yeah, because crescent might take a little bit longer, but it is a protocol that's giving over 100% APY at the moment.
Okay.
And it is doing really good. It's basically what osmosis is, but it is a little bit better because has liquid staking. So when you stake your tokens, you can actually you get another token, like a synthetic that you can also do things with or just sell. So there's a couple other companies that do that, and it's really valuable because it adds more value to the token. Like instead of just staking it and just letting it sit, when you stake it and get a synthetic token, or you can put that in another pool, and it just kind of builds up the value within the ecosystem. So it's been doing really good.
On the osmosis
atom ecosystem going down, Crescent's actually been doing really good.
Oh, okay. On the platform Osmo?
No, it's Crescent.network.
Okay.
I have to double check on that, like what the website is, but you can only buy it from Crescent.
Okay.
It's not on any other exchanges yet, but it's something to look into. Again, the high APY. But yeah,
and what does
now's the time to buy, because just because the market's down. Although I had somewhat hesitate to say that, because part of me also feels like it'll just keep going. It'll go down a little bit more because of next month is supposed to be some interesting things happening within the world. We'll see how that goes. And when interesting things happen, it affects stocks and assets as a whole. So
like what?
Well, we don't know. It's astrology that's talking about these things, but I have seen, so there's the H3M8. It's like a chicken virus, bird flu.
Another one? Come on.
So some of us say like, oh, they're probably going to push a whole nother narrative of a dangerous disease to incorporate more laws, lockdowns, blah, blah, blah.
Are we going to turn into zombies and like?
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, we don't have much time, but there's an interesting thing. If you go into Amazon's terms of service and you like hit Control F and search for certain terms, search for zombie, you'll find something interesting.
Okay.
In their terms of service. So it's like protecting them in the case of people eating human flesh or something like that. Like it's really weird to have in their terms of service. But that's the thing, we don't read these things. We just quick agree.
We do not.
But there's something in there about
if I did.
Yeah, there's stuff in there about eating human flesh. Like I had to look it up myself, and yeah, there it is. But just to kind of conclude, because then there's the food shortage, right? That's kind of being orchestrated, and it has to do with the bird flu. They're killing off chickens to kind of keep this flu at bay, which chicken's a food source, right? A very popular food source, not just chicken, but then eggs. So there's all that stuff going on that might impact economics.
Go vegan.
Say, well, yeah, just grow your own food. You have these lawns and things, and it's pretty grass, but is it helping?
I agree. Like I remember that time when like the guy comes and knocks on my door and is like, excuse me, lady, would you like me to spread like weed killer all over your lawn? I was like, why? He's like, there's flowers. I was like, what? Right. I was like, there's flowers? Are you kidding me?
Well, at least call them flowers instead of weeds. Huh? At least he called them flowers instead of weeds. But
no, I think he called it weeds. I was like, oh, you mean the flowers? It was like, yeah.
The end on like because you have to go, but dandelions, right?
What's that?
Dandelions.
Yeah.
Like, there's a dandelion in my yard. Oh, you got to kill it. We spray for dandelions. It's like, do you know what dandelions are? Do you know, like?
Yeah, you can make soup out of it.
they're very nutritious and they help detox your liver. You can use a tea with the root and it cleans out your liver. And then you can eat the leaves and they're high in vitamin B and they're really nutritious. It's a food. But we were I remember as a kid, oh, you have to go pick, weed the garden and you got to take out the dandelion.
Yeah.
Not knowing anything.
They used to eat it. Yeah, my mom and my grandma and stuff. Yeah. Awesome. And just one more question. I forgot to ask while you were talking. What is DAO?
DAO, Decentralized Autonomous Organization.
Decentralized Autonomous Organization. Yeah, I'm taking note at the same time. Okay. Organization?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks. That was cool. Interesting. It was nice to actually go into all these topics and see how it links up and, remodel the world.
Free flowing and remodeling the world. That's what we're here for.
Yes.
Then that's the time for it. That's why things seem to be collapsing. Because you can't build something new without destroying the old, but that's going into
build over it. Yes. Thank you so much, Kyel. Thank you everybody for watching. I hope you enjoy these videos with us. Keep believing in a new system, in a new economy, and we hope the crypto follows along with us and that you all have a great day.
Yeah. Enjoy. Thank you.
Thanks.